All right, let's jump right in. Today we're diving deep into, well, Think and Grow Rich.
Mm.
Yeah, Napoleon Hill's classic, you sent over some excerpts that really caught your eye. And our mission today is to kind of sift through those, pull out the good stuff, the nuggets of wisdom that'll help you unlock, well, riches. And I'm not just talking about money here. We're talking riches in every sense of the word.
What I find so fascinating about Hill's work is that it's not just about financial advice. He really delves into the psychology of success. It's all about understanding how your thoughts can actually shape your reality.
Right, like he cracked the code of the human mind,
Yeah.
figured out how to program it for success. And the way he uses these stories, it's like reading an adventure novel, but with a side of life-changing advice.
Yeah, he really brings these principles to life through the experiences of people who actually use them. Like take Charles M. Schwab, for example. He used these principles to build the U.S. Steel Corporation. And, he became incredibly wealthy in the process.
So it's like he had this internal GPS set to, like Successville. And Hill's principles were the directions. But then you've got the story of R.U. Darby. This guy literally walked away from a gold mine, like 3 feet from striking it rich.
Oh, Darby's story.
Mm.
That's a classic example of how self-doubt and just a lack of persistence can totally sabotage you, even when you have a golden opportunity. It's a cautionary tale, for sure.
Right, like he had the winning lottery ticket, but he just tossed it in the trash before even checking the numbers. But, his story also shows us that, failure isn't the end, right? Later on, Darby found success in life insurance.
Exactly, and that's the beauty of Hill's message. He says we shouldn't let those past failures define us, but view them as, stepping stones.
Okay, so it's all about reframing those failures, seeing them as valuable lessons. Now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Hill gives us 13 principles for achieving riches. And remember, he's not just talking about money, It's about riches in every aspect of life. Love, happiness, fulfilling work, you name it.
Yeah, it's like a holistic approach to success, recognizing that our thoughts and beliefs really do shape our experiences.
Okay, so let's dive into the first principle. Desire. Hill says that a burning desire, like a deep yearning for something. That's the starting point for any achievement. You need that fire in your belly, that relentless hunger to make things happen.
Think of it like this. Desire is the seed of achievement. It's the spark that ignites the engine of your ambition. Without it, you're probably not going to put in the effort to overcome the obstacles, and actually achieve your goals. Hill actually uses Darby's story to illustrate this point.
Really? How does a story about giving up show the power of desire?
Well, think about it. Later on, Darby found success in life insurance, and Hill says this was because of a burning desire, something Darby learned from a child, actually.
So even though Darby gave up at first, that desire was still there, like an ember waiting to be rekindled.
Wow.
Fascinating. Okay, so what's next on Hill's recipe for riches?
Principle number 2 is faith. Now, before you think we're going all religious on you here, Hill connects faith to the idea of autosuggestion and the power of the subconscious mind. He suggests that by repeatedly affirming what we desire, we can actually develop a deep belief in our ability to achieve it.
So it's not about blind faith. It's more about training your mind to believe in your vision. And then that belief fuels your actions.
Exactly. Our subconscious minds are incredibly powerful, They don't really distinguish between real and imagined experiences. So if you constantly feed it those positive affirmations, it will start to believe them as facts.
It's like planting seeds in your subconscious garden. And what you water with belief will eventually grow. And Hill uses a pretty amazing example here, right? The creation of the United States Steel Corporation.
Oh, yeah. Think about it. Building something as massive as U.S. Steel, it requires a tremendous amount of belief, not just from one person, but from an entire group, people who share that vision and are willing to work towards it.
It's like that shared faith is what brought them together, allowed them to get all the resources and expertise to make it happen. Okay, I'm starting to see how these principles connect, First, you have that burning desire, the fuel for the journey. Then you need faith, that unwavering belief that you'll reach your destination. But how do you steer the ship? How do you actually make it all happen?
Well, that's where the third principle comes in, autosuggestion. This is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. It's about taking control of your thoughts and consciously directing them towards your desired outcome.
So like positive self-talk on steroids.
Exactly. Hill suggests using affirmations, visualizations, and other techniques to reprogram your subconscious mind for success. He even provides a self-confidence formula in the book, a set of affirmations that you can repeat daily to build your belief in yourself.
It's like giving your mind a pep talk every morning. I love it. Okay, so we've got desire, faith, and autosuggestion. What's the next ingredient in Hill's success recipe?
Principle number 4 is specialized knowledge. Hill emphasizes that you need the right tools for the job. This means acquiring the knowledge and skills that are specific to your goals.
So it's not enough to just dream big. You need to actually equip yourself with the knowledge to make those dreams a reality. But doesn't that mean years of schooling or expensive training?
Not necessarily. Hill makes a point of saying that specialized knowledge is actually more accessible than ever. It doesn't have to break the bank. And it's available in so many forms: books, courses, mentorships, even just good old-fashioned experience.
Yeah, and he tells this great story about a guy named Stuart Austin Weir, who went back to law school at 40 and then achieved incredible success because of his specialized training.
Exactly. Weir's story shows that it's never too late, to pursue knowledge and use it to create a better future. The key is to identify the specific knowledge you need and then actively seek it out.
So it's all about becoming a lifelong learner, always pushing yourself to expand your knowledge and skills. I like that.
Absolutely. In a world that's constantly changing, the ability to learn and adapt is crucial for success in pretty much any field.
Right, we've covered 4 principles so far: desire, faith, autosuggestion, and specialized knowledge. What's next on Hill's success checklist?
Number 5 is imagination. Hill believes that imagination is the engine of innovation. It's the key to unlocking your creative potential.
I love that. But isn't imagination just for, like, artists and dreamers?
Not at all. Hill actually breaks down imagination into 2 types: synthetic and creative. Synthetic imagination is about rearranging existing ideas, while creative imagination is the source of entirely new ideas.
So it's not just about daydreaming. It's about using your imagination to solve problems, come up with new solutions, and create something truly unique.
You got it. And Hill connects this principle to the story of Dr. Gonzalez. He wanted to build a great educational institution.
Oh yeah, he's the one who had this vision for this incredible school. And then he actually got it funded because his vision was so clear.
That's the one. He got funding from Philip D. Armour, because his vision for this school was so powerful. It wasn't just some vague idea. It was a fully formed concept brought to life by his imagination.
So imagination isn't about escaping reality. It's about using your mind to shape reality. That's powerful stuff.
And it's a skill you can develop. The more you use your imagination, the more you tap into your creative potential. And you can actually bring those ideas to life.
All right, we've covered 5 principles so far: desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, and imagination. What's the next step in Hill's formula for success?
Now we get to the practical stuff. Organized planning. This is where we bridge the gap between, dreaming and doing. Hill really stresses the importance of having a concrete plan, taking your vision and breaking it down into manageable steps.
So it's like creating a roadmap for success, outlining the steps you need to take to reach your destination.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Hill recognizes that even the best laid plans can go wrong. Life happens, unexpected obstacles pop up. So he emphasizes the importance of being flexible. You gotta adapt.
So it's not about sticking to the plan no matter what. It's more about having a framework that can guide you, but also allows for adjustments along the way.
Right. It's not about eliminating risk. It's about managing it, having a system in place that helps you navigate the challenges, the setbacks that you're bound to encounter on your journey.
It's like having a GPS that can recalculate the route when you hit a detour. It keeps you moving towards your destination even when the path changes. Okay, so we've got a plan. But what about those inevitable roadblocks? How do we keep moving forward when doubts start creeping in?
That's where the 7th principle comes in: decision. Hill is a big believer in making clear decisions, definite decisions, and sticking to them. He says indecision is like a poison. It can paralyze you, prevent you from making progress.
Yeah, it's like standing at a crossroads, frozen by indecision while opportunities just pass you by.
That's a great way to put it. Hill actually compares indecision to a poisonous snake. It injects its venom into your mind, slowly erodes your confidence, your ability to take action.
Wow, that's a pretty vivid image. So how do we avoid getting bitten by the snake of indecision?
Well, Hill suggests developing the habit of making decisions quickly, decisively, even if you don't have all the information. Sometimes you just got to trust your gut. Take a leap of faith. He says it's better to make a wrong decision and learn from it than to be stuck in that state of paralysis.
So it's about taking action, even if it's not perfect. It's about building momentum, trusting that you can course correct. Okay, decision made, now what?
Now you need the fuel to push through those tough times: persistence. Hill describes persistence as the sustained effort that's required to, make your desires a reality.
It's that never give up attitude, that relentless pursuit of your goals no matter what obstacles you face.
You got it. And Hill says persistence is fueled by willpower. It's essential for overcoming those setbacks and disappointments. You remember R.U. Darby, right? The guy who walked away from the gold mine?
Oh yeah, the guy who basically threw away a winning lottery ticket. What about him?
Well, he eventually did find success in life insurance, but it wasn't easy. Hill argues that Darby's success was largely due to his persistence, his refusal to give up on his dreams, even after that major setback.
So Darby's story shows us that persistence is about more than just hard work. It's about having the mental and emotional stamina to keep going, even when things get really tough.
Precisely. Hill emphasizes that persistence is often the key difference between those who achieve their goals and those who don't.
It's like running a marathon. It's not just about speed, it's about endurance. Having the mental and physical strength to keep pushing forward, even when you feel like giving up.
Exactly. And Hill gives us some practical tips for building persistence, like setting clear goals, breaking them down into smaller steps, and surrounding yourself with a supportive network of people.
Okay, so we've got desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination, organized planning, decision, and persistence. What other secrets does Hill have up his sleeve?
This next principle is really interesting, the power of the mastermind. Hill suggests that collaborating with like-minded people can significantly increase your chances of success.
The power of teamwork. Two heads are better than one and all that.
Exactly, but Hill takes it a step further. He says a mastermind, which is a group of people with a shared purpose, working together in harmony, they can create a synergy that's way more powerful than each individual working alone.
He uses Henry Ford as an example here, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't he part of this group of brilliant minds that included Thomas Edison and Harvey Firestone?
That's right. Hill believes that part of Ford's success came from his mastermind. They provided him with different perspectives, valuable insights, and a network of resources. That helped him revolutionize the car industry.
So it's not just about being around smart people. It's about finding those who complement your strengths, challenge your weaknesses, and share your vision.
Exactly. And Hill says the mastermind principle, it's not just for business. It applies to any area of life where you're aiming high, whether you're starting a company, writing a book, or just trying to improve your personal life. Having a supportive network can make all the difference.
Okay, this is starting to make a lot of sense. We've got the desire, the faith, autosuggestion to program our minds, specialized knowledge and imagination to build our dreams, a plan to guide us, the decision-making power to keep moving forward, persistence to overcome obstacles, and a mastermind for support and inspiration. But I feel like something's missing, Where's the passion, the drive, the raw energy that fuels it all?
That's where Hill's next principle comes in, and it's probably the most controversial one, the mystery of sex transmutation.
Okay, now we're getting into some interesting territory. But before we go there, it's important to remember that Hill was writing in a different time with different social norms. So we'll approach this with a modern perspective, focusing on the core message while acknowledging that some of the language might feel a bit outdated today.
Definitely. At its core, what Hill is saying is that sexual energy is incredibly powerful, and it can be channeled into other areas of life, like creativity, innovation, personal growth. He believed that if this energy isn't directed properly, it can lead to, dissipation and a lack of focus.
So it's not about suppressing or denying this natural drive. It's about understanding its power and learning to use it constructively.
You got it. He talks about transforming this raw energy into a driving force for achievement.
I see how this connects to some of the other principles. It's about understanding your own energy and learning how to channel it towards your goals, like harnessing the power of a river to generate electricity.
That's a great analogy. This principle really speaks to the importance of self-awareness and self-mastery, understanding your motivations, your desires, your strengths, and your weaknesses, and then consciously directing your energy in a way that aligns with your goals.
All right, we've explored 10 of Hill's principles so far: desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination, organized planning, decision, persistence, power of the mastermind, and the mystery of sex transmutation. What's the final piece of the puzzle?
So we've been through 10 principles, and they've all been pretty amazing, but I have a feeling this last one really ties it all together.
I bet you're right.
The 11th principle is the subconscious mind, and Hill calls it the connecting link to achieving riches. Remember all that talk about autosuggestion, planting those seeds of belief? Well, the subconscious mind is where those seeds grow.
It's like the control center, the
Yeah.
operating system that runs the whole show.
Exactly. But here's the catch. The subconscious mind doesn't understand logic. It's all about emotions.
So if we want to influence our subconscious mind
Ah.
and ultimately shape our reality, we got to speak to it in a language it gets.
That's exactly why affirmations and visualizations work so well. They bypass the logical mind and go straight to our emotions, our deepest beliefs and desires.
It's like writing a love letter to your subconscious, filled with all the positive vibes and inspiration. And Hill goes on to list 7 major emotions, right, both positive and negative ones, that can influence our subconscious minds.
That's right. He really emphasizes cultivating those positive emotions like love, faith, enthusiasm, while getting rid of the negative ones like fear, jealousy, and hatred.
It's like creating a healthy environment in your mind, nurturing the good and getting rid of the bad.
Precisely. By understanding how your subconscious mind works, you can essentially program it for success. Create a mental space that supports your goals and draws in the opportunities you need.
This is incredible. It's like we've been given the secret formula, but wait, we've covered 11 principles, and Hill's book talks about 13. What about the last 2?
Well, the 12th and 13th principles, the sixth sense and fear, they're kind of intertwined. They're all about intuition and what stops us from using it. Hill describes the sixth sense as like this heightened awareness, an inner guidance system that you access once you've mastered the other principles.
So it's like leveling up in a video game. You've gained experience, learned new skills, and now you've unlocked this special power that gives you an edge.
You got it. But there's a catch. Fear can block us from accessing this inner wisdom. Hill says fear is a state of mind, and just like any other state of mind, it can be managed and overcome.
He actually lists 6 basic fears that hold people back, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Poverty, fear of criticism, fear of ill health, fear of loss of love, fear of old age, and fear of death.
Exactly. And he says these fears live in our subconscious, often coming from childhood experiences or, societal pressures. They can really sabotage us, keep us from taking risks.
They're like those little gremlins whispering doubts in our ears, trying to keep us small and safe.
Precisely. And Hill's message is clear. We need to face those fears head on, figure out where they come from, and learn how to silence them.
But he doesn't give us, like, a simple solution, does he?
Nope. He offers a bunch of techniques, many of which we've already talked about. He suggests using affirmations and visualizations to reprogram our subconscious minds with more positive beliefs. He also talks about analyzing our fears, breaking them down to understand where they're really coming from.
So it's about shining a light on those fears, exposing them, realizing they're often just irrational beliefs that we've been holding on to.
Exactly. In the end, it's about making a choice to confront those fears instead of running from them. It's about taking action despite those doubts, showing ourselves that we're stronger than we think.
It's funny how Hill keeps coming back to Are You Darby's story, the guy who walked away from the gold mine. At first, it just seems like a simple story about giving up,
Yeah.
but there's so much more to it.
Oh, absolutely. Darby's story pops up all throughout Hill's book. It's like a reminder that even those who seem to have it all can still be tripped up by self-doubt and a lack of persistence.
But it's also a story of redemption. Despite that initial setback, Darby eventually found success in life insurance. Hill says this was because of his persistence and that burning desire he never let go of.
Exactly. Darby's story is a great example of several key principles, like the importance of desire, persistence, and learning from your mistakes. It shows us that setbacks aren't the end. They're opportunities for growth and change.
So maybe Darby's failure was actually a good thing. It forced him to reevaluate and find a path where he could truly thrive.
It's a powerful reminder that sometimes what we think are setbacks are actually leading us to something even better.
It's like that saying, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn.
Exactly. Darby's story encourages us to embrace those learning experiences, to take those valuable lessons from our setbacks, and use them to fuel our future success.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, I think the biggest one is realizing that we have more control over our lives than we often think. Hill's principles highlight the power of our thoughts, beliefs, and actions.
It's not about luck or circumstance. It's about taking charge and creating the future we want.
That's right, and it all starts with desire, that burning desire, that longing for something. It's the spark that sets everything in motion.
Then we cultivate faith in ourselves and in these principles. We use autosuggestion to program our minds for success. We acquire the knowledge and skills we need to make our visions a reality. We use imagination to explore new possibilities. And we create plans to guide us towards our goals.
And we make decisions with confidence. We persevere, knowing that setbacks will happen, but they won't stop us. We surround ourselves with a mastermind, people who share our vision and inspire us.
And we tap into the power of our subconscious minds, understanding that it responds to emotions. And by fostering positive feelings and beliefs, we can create a mental environment that supports our growth.
And finally, we face our fears, recognizing that they're often illusions. And we choose to act anyway, knowing that courage and resilience are crucial for reaching our dreams.
Wow, what an incredible journey this has been. We've covered so much ground, from the power of desire to the subconscious mind, from the importance of persistence to the amazing power of the mastermind. It's clear that Hill's Think and Grow Rich is more than just a book about money.
It's a guide for anyone who wants to live a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
And as we finish this deep dive, we encourage you to revisit the book, explore these principles, experiment with them, see how they can change your entire approach to life.
The journey starts with a single thought. What will your thought be?
That's a great question to ponder. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. We hope you've enjoyed exploring the wisdom of Think and Grow Rich with us. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep thinking and growing rich in all areas of your life.